On this episode, we've teamed up with Forefront Industries and we're going to install a set of hard pipes. G'day guys and welcome to another episode of Service My Ride. Today we're going to be working on the intercooler, more so the pipes. I've got the factory hoses on there at the moment and I've actually got a split. So I got in contact with Jamie from Forefront Industries and he was happy to help out and he sent us the hard pipe kit for the MN Triton. So we're going to be installing that one today. And while we're working on the intercooler, I thought why not take out the intercooler itself and give it a good clean before we put it back into the car. Now the hard pipes, they're not an upgrade, they are a replacement part. It's not going to give you any performance, and if it does, it's going to be very small. Alright, so a couple of days later, we've got our hard pipes in the mail, and these don't look too bad. They're a nice polished alloy, which look pretty good. They've also got the Forefront Industries logo on them as well. Looks pretty cool. One thing I have noticed is that the main pipe probably isn't as thick in diameter as what the factory hose is. The other pipes look pretty much the same. We've got our silicone joiners which go on the end of the pipes. Then to hold them we've got our hose clamps as well. So this looks pretty standard, pretty easy to put together. On this main pipe it does come with the connection if you want to run a gauge for boost, and you also get your barb as well if you want to put your hoses onto it, run it to your gauge. Pretty good. We're not going to do that, so we're just going to leave the bolt in there. The only tools you're going to need is a, what have we got, an 8mm socket and a flat-headed screwdriver, and that's going to get this kit put on your car. Now we all know that with these factory hoses, over time they're prone to split. And if you're out full driving or in a remote area, to get a replacement can be quite expensive. And it's a lot more expensive than what this Forefront Industries hard pipe kit is to install. Now we all know that yes, if you do get a split, we can put some cable ties around it, wrap it up with some electrical tape, but over time, eventually, we are going to have to replace these hoses. So this is a cheap and easy mod, and it's also going to dress up the engine bay. To make sure the engine's turned off and cool to touch, then we can remove the intercooler hoses from the engine. By removing and pulling back the hose clamps, we can then remove the hoses directly from their mounts. Now to remove the third and final intercooler hose, we do need to remove the grill, but if you're going to go ahead and also do the intercooler clean, it's best to remove both headlights and the grill at the same time. This will allow you to access all the bolts and remove the entire system from the car. Now to remove the elbow bracket for the intercooler hoses, there is one bolt that's hidden in behind the passenger side light, which we're going to need to remove by undoing the 4 bolts. There's 2 on top of the light, one in the wheel guard behind the plastic stone guard, and the other is in beside the grille next to the headlight. Right, now the lights are now coming out. And with the headlight now out of the way, that gives us plenty of access to get to those final 2 bolts holding in the bracket. Alrighty. There we go. And look at all that oil in there. And this is a bit hard to see, but look at that solid oil coming through. That's filth. Right, so now that all the pipes are out, it's going to be quite easy now. We've got the grill out, we've got the light out. We might need to undo the driver's light just to be able to get to the bolts on the intercooler, but we'll have a look and we'll see how we go. But now we're just going to take the intercooler out. And we can't take out the headlight because of the angel eyes. It's got a box that's actually glued in, or double-sided tape down, so we can't actually take that out. But we've got access now to the bolts.
Now the intercooler is held in by 3 bolts, one which we can access through the top grill, and the other 2 we can access with an extension on our socket and go through the bottom grill to remove those 2 bolts.
What's that one? Like so. Done. So there's the intercooler out of the car, and just by having a look at it, you can see inside it's really quite dirty. A lot of oil in there, and I'll just show you with the paper towel again. Just give that a wipe. We can just see the amount of oil that's just inside here. There's just so much of it in there. So we'll give that a clean out. Bit of damage in there, but should be okay. We'll clean all this up, we'll get some degreaser into it, put some metho in a tub, we'll give it a good wash out and we'll see how we go. Okay, so we've got ourselves a clear tub. It's a 60 litre tub. That'll be big enough to get our parts in there to give them a good clean, the intercooler and the 2 pipes. In our cleaning, we've got our methylated spirits and we've also got some heavy duty degreaser. So pretty much what we're going to do is we're just going to try and give them a clean first, try and get all the oil out. We're not just going to fill it up and make a bath, we're going to try and circulate it the best we can, so we're always putting clean fluid in to try and clean it out. And then that's pretty much all there is to it. Once there's no more oil, we know it's nice and clean, we can put it back into the car.
Now before you go to town on cleaning the intercooler, we want to make sure not to damage the 3 rubber mounts that are attached to the intercooler. So remove them and we'll reinstall them later. Now legend has it that when you add the metho, that's when the magic happens. And you'll start doing a crazy dance called the shake and spray.
Alrighty. Let's see how much is in here.
Now you will need to repeat this process quite a few times, so make sure that we get rid of all that contaminated oil from the bottom of our tub and we'll start again. Keep going until the intercooler comes out nice and clean. And these angles that were removed from the intercooler earlier, we're going to reuse these with the hard pipes, so give them a good clean as well. And also we want to check out that gasket that we pulled out from the intercooler. We will be reusing this, so make sure there's no damage after cleaning it. I'm going to continue cleaning this and then we'll throw it out into the sun so it can dry out.
So I've had the intercooler sitting out in the sun for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. It's now nice and dry, ready to go back into the car, and it come up looking brand new. A little bit discoloured on the metal, but I'm not too fussed about that. At least I know it's nice and clean on the inside. A few of the other parts, they did come up really nice and clean, which is going to make hopefully a big difference once we put it back into the car. And the gasket cleaned up really good as well, so we will be able to reuse that. We won't have to replace it, which is good. And then this is pretty much the hard pipe kit. Now we can start sorting it out, work out what pipe goes where. More so with the joiners, just to work out which joiner goes up with which pipe, and then we can start popping it back into the car. So we'll put all this pipe into place. That's that one in. Get that up there. Alright, so the next part is this other bit of hard pipe which runs off the intercooler, which runs down back into this bracket, which we've got to mount back inside as well. Put the screws back on that, and all behind the grill here then should be done. So we'll get this piece in, and then we'll do the bracket after that. So slide that over there, push him in, slide him into place. There we go. Alright, push that mount up nice and hard. Nice and tight. Snap that off. Tighten that one off. So it's all back together, all the piping's been done from turbo through intercooler up into throttle body. Now the trick to doing it is obviously leave all the bolts loose. Don't have any of them tight because it is pretty hard. Especially while you've got hard pipes, they're not going to bend as easy as what the silicone pipes did. So leave everything loose so you can wiggle it all around. And once it's all sitting in, then we can go through and tighten it all back up, which is what we're going to do now.
Now this short hose that I'm replacing from the airbox to the turbo is not part of the hard pipes kit. This is an additional product that Forefront Industries have available. And this pipe wasn't going to go on without a fight. But undoing a few of the bolts on the airbox, I was able to get it on and get the pipe clamps nice and tight.
There we go. Beautiful. About 8 mil. This one. Alright. And a blow by pipe. Push straight in. Beautiful. Now we can push this. It's done there. Push it right back in. So now that we've done the intercooler clean and we've put the hard pipes onto the car, we should now notice some reduced intake temperatures in the car, hopefully giving it a bit better performance. Now when I did go for a test drive, I did notice that I had a boost leak. That was no error by the kit whatsoever. I didn't actually tighten up one of the hose clamps. On our next video, we're going to be installing the ProVent catch can to try and keep that system as clean as possible. So if you've got any comments, leave them down below, or you can contact Jamie directly at Forefront Industries. I'll also leave a link for him down below as well. But get out there and give it a go, and I'll see you guys in the next video.